guys, this is Matt at Comax Gaming and welcome to another SourceMod tutorial. Today I'm gonna cover events, which is something that it's very useful and I've never covered before. So, an event gets fired when, like, for example in Counter-Strike or any Source game, when you die, the engine is calling an event. That event is called player death. Now within that event you can do different stuff. You can code stuff, get the client died, and all that stuff instead of having a loop and checking if he's alive. So this is very important for optimization and all that stuff. So yeah, basically it's something that gets called from the engine when something happens. Now there are different types of events and each game has a different event. They don't all have the same event. For example, here I'm in here at the Elliot Mod's website. It's game events. Well, I'm gonna leave a link in the description below. I'm using this proxy because I've been banned from the site for some reason that I don't know. Okay, so if you were coding for Counter-Strike, here you can have a lot of Counter-Strike stuff. Let it load. So as you can see here, for Counter-Strike you have like 55 different events, which is a lot. You can see player hurt, player death, and you get all the notes here that you know what's happening. Now what's this? Maybe you're saying, okay, what's short, string, bool, short, and all this? When an event happens, there is data traveling from the engine to the server or anything like that. What's traveling is this information here. For example, for player death, you have all these variables that have a value. They have data signed. A short is like an integer, but it's like a small integer. It's not going to store like an enormous number, like I don't know, 2 billion. That's not going to work with short. Well, a string, you know what's a string, and also a boolean returns true or false. So it's a bool headshot. This is going to say true if it was a headshot and false if it was not a headshot. As for the user ID, is the unique ID died, and the tagger is the unique ID who killed. Also you have player death and all that stuff. We're going to use all this info in a minute, so yeah. But you can go here, get all the information. If you're coding for Half-Life 2 deathmatch, yeah, you're going to have like, yeah, this few events. There are more that are fired within Half-Life 2, but they're not listed here. And some of them don't work, like this one, because you don't have H events in Half-Life 2 deathmatch. Okay, how events work. Public, unplug and start, like always. And here, when the plugin starts, you want to hook the event. So you type hook event, and it says name, callback, and mode. Those are the 3 arguments. The name, we're actually going to get player death. Comma. The callback is gonna be player death. I like calling it the same way as the event, but like it's gonna be the callback. So yeah. And then it says event hook mode. Now we're gonna leave this as default, which is event hook mode post. And I'm gonna show you guys in a second what that is. If you go to events inc and includes folder, you're gonna find this. Now here are the hook modes. The pre is gonna be hook callback fired before the event is even fired. Post is gonna be after the event is fired, and post no copy is gonna be callback fired after the event is fired, but even data won't be copied. Event data, my bad. So if we use this, all those variables like these ones are not gonna be like posted. You're not gonna be able to get them. Post is gonna happen once the event has been fired, and pre is gonna be fired before the event has taken place. And here you have the callback to use. So we're gonna actually copy this, copy, paste here. Wait a minute. So yeah, we're gonna extend all this. Whoops. and here we're gonna paste our callback function name. Okay, so it says event, the name of the event here, my bad, and then there's a boolean that says don't broadcast. If true, the event was not broadcasted to clients. False otherwise. You know when it says SV cheats change to 1 or 0 in game, or like SV password says change to protected, that's what's gonna be like true or false. If it was shown to clients, it's gonna be true. If it wasn't, it's gonna be false, I guess. Okay, so once we hooked this, we want to say, okay, what we want to do here, we want to show in the console that the player has died. So we're going to create new client equals get event int, because it's an integer, player death. It's a short, but it's an integer because it's a number, would have short. So yeah, int, it says the event name, which is actually going to be event, comma, and the key. Which is the key? This one. Where is it? Here. User ID is going to be the key for us. So we're going to type user ID. But before this, we're going to actually want to do, since this is a user ID, it's not the same as the client ID. So what we have to do is get client of user ID, and then we type that. So what we're saying is, okay, get the client from the user ID, and then we get the user ID from the event itself. So that's a way of getting the client within an event, because the user ID is not the same as the client ID, right? You get the point. You know, client, the unique number in game for each client is not going to be that. This is going to get the unique number for that client, not that. That's what we're doing. Get client of user ID, and then we post the data, the variable from the event that's going to contain the user ID. We're also going to get the attacker, since it looks pretty amazing. So it's the same, just do attacker with the C, I believe, right? Yeah. And then we write attacker here. It's the same. So right now we have the client and the attacker. The client is who died, and the attacker, well, yeah. Now we want to check for some stuff. We want to say client equals attacker, which means that if the client suicide, or client equals, client equals 0, or, attacker equals 0, then we want to broadcast. Wait a minute, I'm gonna explain in a second. Plugin continue is gonna like go ahead with the event. It's gonna continue with the normal stuff that happens within this event, because this is fired like from the engine, and you're just extending what's gonna happen. So if you return plugin handle, then what happens after this, like the thing that's been handled by the engine, is not gonna take place at any moment. So you're not gonna see like right here like the name and the icon on the other name. That's not gonna happen if you do plugin handled. If you do plugin continue, you are. Client equals attacker. This is basically checking, okay, if this is the same number, if it's the same ID of the client, then it means that he suicide. Then we're gonna return plugin continue, because we don't want to track this. If we wanted to, then we're gonna remove this. This is checking if there's an error like the client equals 0, that's not possible, and or the attacker equals 0, that's not possible either. So yeah, shouldn't happen, but it might. So yeah, we want to say, okay, if client here, want to say, okay, he's suicide. So I want to say print to chat all, chat all. We want to do the name of the client, and then we want to say humiliation. Just like that, or anything you want. So I want to say new string name. It's going to store the value, the name, the client name. These are all functions I like already explained. So client is gonna be the client, the name is gonna be the name, and the max length is gonna be 32. And too lazy to type size off. Comma name. So this is gonna print the name of the client. It's gonna say, okay, blah blah blah, like he reloaded humiliation, or humiliated himself, whatever you want. You can type it in there. Even suicide, being more simple. Return, plug and continue. Then what we want to do is we want to say, okay, if this is not the case, we're gonna type else, but it's not really necessary since we're returning if that happens, but just in case you wanna, like, yeah. Else we wanna say print. Okay, we wanna declare the name. Also here we're gonna make this global, since either way this is gonna happen. And then another string, we're just gonna say a name. A stands for attacker, didn't notice yet. And here we want to get the name of the attacker. So here we get the name of the client, person who died, and here from the attacker. So here we want to say print to chat all. Can't type. Want to say killed, comma. So we want to say a name, name. It's gonna say a name, the attacker, killed, and the person that died. So we're gonna return and plug in continue as well here, and that's all. That's how you track events. For the when you know the plugin ends, on plugin end, you can actually unhook event. Oh yeah, that reminded me that we're gonna actually do entities next week. We're gonna do something cool, like getting values from the client and showing them on your screen when you aim at him. Or maybe we can do some entity stuff, like getting the entity info, healing a prop or something like that. We're gonna see. You can even comment below saying what you want. So yeah, the name of the event, the hook pointer. Okay, you know what, this is player death, so same as before, right? Player death, and you know, player death here. But this is actually like optional. I don't do this. Like, I've never done that, and it still works, and it's very like smooth. So it's not necessary. So I'm gonna try this in game. Of course, since I'm the only one playing, it's gonna say I killed myself, probably, if I did nothing wrong. So with a bit of luck, I was editing that plugin. So tutorial compile. Whoa, I get 4 warnings. God damn it. That was not expected at all. So let me pause the video. Okay guys, 2 problems. I was naming this variable name, and there's a variable called name already, so that was shadowing a local variable here. So I changed the name of name to zname, and zname here. It stands for client name. And also, if you want to actually return something, you gotta do action here. That's what I didn't check here in event, in the include. So you can see it says action. I didn't check that. I forgot. You can see here it doesn't return anything. Here for action it does return. So I'm sorry, I didn't check that. So yeah. Also something I want to show you is in a minute, like getting the weapon name. So we're gonna give it a 22 value. So get event string. The event is gonna be event, comma. The key is gonna be weapon. The value is gonna be wep, and the max length 22. So what we're saying here is, okay, get the name of the weapon he used, and here what we're gonna say is with s, and here we write wep. So we get the weapon name and we use it. So actually I don't have time to test it out, but I'm gonna check it, and I'm gonna leave something in the description saying that it works or not, and if it doesn't, I'm gonna tell you what's correct. As always, please subscribe, please rate it up, and thanks for watching, and this was Matt with Comax Gaming.